Welcome back, guys, to the Beyond Condition podcast, the voice of bodybuilding. And today I am giving a voice to, well, she is my second mum. She's my bodybuilder because, of course, we've actually known each other for quite some time on the scene, Sibel and I. And, I want to actually intro this episode with reflecting on a moment or a few moments that we shared at a show that I saw you at in this season, 2025.
Yeah,
And, it was like straight away, and you know what it's like in life, you have certain people that you're ride or dies, you might not see them for years, and then suddenly it's like, oh. And I saw you at the show and you were doing your check-ins, you were practicing your posing and ready to compete. And I just had this moment of like, you literally epitomize the vibe that I try to share myself with the realistic expectations, bringing your best physique to stage. Fuck what everyone else is doing. This is your time. You were so
absolutely.
chilled. You were vibing. You were just like, I cannot wait to get on that stage, Sarah. And, without further ado, welcome to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I can't tell you how honored I am. Such a pleasure to have this space with you and to be able to have a conversation about being a masters athlete, just enjoying the sport the way that we both do so much. But yeah, I mean, I think it's as a masters athlete, I think I focus very much on the masters element because it is significantly and markedly different from being a non-masters athlete. And I think there is not often enough light perhaps shed on those nuances. And I think maybe this opportunity might be an eye-opener for those that are masters athletes that are perhaps considering going into the sport or currently new to the sport or currently in the sport and wondering, why isn't this happening to me or that happening to me, perhaps. And also those that are not masters, but approaching being one. Let's face it, we're not going to stay 20 forever. So it's always interesting to kind of have an understanding of perhaps the other side. I'm honored to be the masters athlete that you chose, as always, and I am. So I suppose I'd love to start by talking about maybe how, what is expected of us. I'm a bikini athlete, so I'm a Masters Bikini athlete. Perhaps that's very important to stress for those that don't know. That is my category, my class, which is a specific look. For those that don't know what that means, is a specific look to perhaps another category such as wellness or figure. However, regardless of what we may be, such as bikini, wellness, figure, the expectations of us as masters athletes will always be the same. And that just simply means, as seasoned athletes, when you're on stage in front of a panel of judges who are looking at a masters athlete on stage, they expect to see a certain level of musculature. So that might not be necessarily the case with a younger athlete, one that is not a master's, maybe a junior or maybe 25 years old, perhaps, because naturally one would not have developed as much as one would have done if they're a master's athlete. So they expect to see a certain level of musculature, they expect to see a certain look, never compromising the look of your class. That does not change, but you're expected to deliver some nuances that are different to those that aren't masters. So that's something to bear in mind. So if you're a masters athlete and you're going on stage trying to, I'm going to say this as tactfully as I can, but trying to compete on a stage that isn't leaning towards a master's stage, i.e., if you're going to try to compete against 20-year-olds, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can't compare apples and oranges. Both of you are magnificent, but we need to stay in our lane. And so if there are any athletes out there that are masters that are wondering, gosh, I've I've competed so many times now. I don't understand why this isn't happening to me and that isn't happening to me. Consider your lane. Consider, consider what it is you're showcasing and where. You know, I, as an athlete, never, with the exception of a regional, because one always has to do one of those, with the exception of a regional, you will not see me do pro qualifiers that are not geared master centric. I stay in my lane. I kind of gear myself towards being the best I can be within the realm of masters. So I want to kind of start by really pressing that point, because I hear so much from so many wonderful, wonderful women who reach out to me and say, gosh, what is it about me? It's nothing about you that's wrong. It's just that perhaps the stage isn't
Appropriate for.
geared for you quite. You know, a very, very important and prolific judge once said to me when I stepped off the master stage, of course, and I went to get my feedback. And I said, please, may I have my feedback, etc. And he was very gracious and gave me my feedback, and it was wonderful. And I said, as the world probably knows by now, working so hard to get my IFBB Pro. And I said, I will always do that on a master stage. He said, quite right, because you're a masters. You're not anything else. And that just, if ever there was anything that rung home, it was when a head judge of that importance says, correct, because you are a master, reminding me, not that I needed reminding because I was the one to sort of reiterate it, but impressing the point that you don't belong. I say that, I don't mean it in that way, but what we have to be real about these things. You're not gonna get far on a stage that doesn't belong to you. It's like apples and oranges, as I said. So I just really wanted to impress that from the get-go. Because if there's anyone out there that's feeling demoralized and thinking, oh, I'm never, I'm not good enough, and actually they are, or I'm not achieving, and actually they have huge potential, consider the stage you're choosing to stand on. It's wonderful that there are all of these shows all around the world, and there's such, they're so impressive, and they've got the accolades and all of that. But if you don't belong on that stage, don't go on it. Go on the ones that you belong on, and you'll find yourself, on a level playing field. It's much, much harder being a masters athlete, for sure. You're expected to deliver more, and the opportunities are less. So be cautious. Think kind of carefully about where you place yourself, and kind of don't set yourself up for something unrealistic,
I feel
basically.
like for your category as well, and another relevant point based on what you said there is actually when you say staying in your lane, for me, I'm bikini as well. It's like if you are that,
Yes.
and for me, I'm very bikini-esque like you are. So my frame and my musculature
Yeah,
is built for bikini.
absolutely.
So it's like, so then we have a choice as athletes, and this is something that I feel people get maybe a bit knocked about, where we need to train for our category, and that gets missed as well.
100%. Not only does that get missed, you're quite right. Train to your category, but also train to your weakness.
Yes.
Don't do anything beyond that. I have never trained my chest in my life.
Good point.
Why would I? Am I going to stand on stage, for example? Not, let's say I didn't win a gold, and I go and get my feedback. Will bikini feedback ever be, your chest isn't wide enough? No. Like, no. Your biceps aren't bulgy enough. No. No. Train to your weaknesses. Know your class. Train to your class. Train to your weaknesses. 1,000,000% nail on the head. I can't tell you how many times, again, I get asked, what's your split like? What my split like is irrelevant because my split is to my physique or whatever it is I need to train my weaknesses or, whatever it is I need to work on. It's kind of irrelevant. But when they say I'm doing chest day or I'm doing X amount of calves, I'm like,
Why?
why? What do I suppose we can't also overlook the fact that not every bikini athlete is an NPC athlete. They might want to not go down that route. They might want to go down PCA. They might want to go down FitX. They might want to go down UK BFF. But, there's so many other types. And surely some require a harder look than the NPC. They might have 4 quarter turns. They might have other mandatories. They might require more back detailing. Certainly the NPC does not. That's all fine. The point is train to your class, train to your weakness. If you're going to go down the PCA route and your goal is to be a PCA pro and remain PCA, awesome, awesome. Train to that. If your goal is to be NPC and then go on to one day hopefully be an IFBB pro like myself, like yourself, awesome. Train to that. What you can't be is everything to everyone. You can't be hard and full at the same time. You can't satisfy everything. So pick a lane, basically. Pick a lane and be the best of that. We can't be everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why so many perhaps get so demoralized. They sort of think, oh, I'm doing all of these shows and I'm a gold here and I'm a nothing there. I've not placed there and I've placed here, or I'm so close here and I'm not close there. Consider that. Consider what stage you're on. Consider what their criteria is. Consider what look you're bringing. Consider your strengths as well as your weaknesses and roll with that, basically. So many don't. See
Yeah,
it so often.
I do. And,
I
there is
see it so.
that there be people that have emotional attachments to the way they want to train. And guys, if you're listening, the truth of the sport
Right.
is you need to give over to exactly what Sibyl's just said, your category and what the judges want. It's not about what you want. And it is the truth.
You want. Absolutely. What are you in this for? And that's another thing. What's your why? I know what my why is. You know what your why is, but what's your why? If your why is not to turn pro, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Go wild. Have fun. Run around, stage hopping all day long and enjoy yourself. With no expectations of X, Y, and Z. Have fun. But please, please, if you're all listening out there, respect the sport, respect the stage. Don't just run onto a stage unprepared, unconditioned, and not prepped. That doesn't mean do that. Please respect it, but enjoy yourself with it. Please. It's a beautiful, all encompassing, welcoming community in sport. But if your why is to turn pro, consider everything that means. And that certainly means working to a very specific remit. It's what the federation, the class requires of you, and certainly not what you want. You might want to go and do chest day. No.
You,
Glute day every day.
yeah, this is it as well. And again, it's that then leads into, if you get pissed off with your placing and it's not, you think you're gonna win or whatever, and you've done what
Yeah,
you want to do. You've gone bro in your off season, and I don't,
right,
all of these things that do go around the space. And I haven't really spoken about it in
right.
light before, which is super cool for me, because it's like, when we are factual about it, it's about your set criteria. And that is, guys, listening, that's the off season. It's not just prep. You don't just go,
Yeah,
I'll do the bikini split in prep. This is when you step on stage. You know this, Sybil. You step on stage with 30 years of this,
yeah,
right? Like, it
right.
is.
Yes. I mean, gosh, nothing. I'm going to say it. Sorry, guys, I'm saying it. Nothing infuriates infuriates me more than when I see people posting things that, posts that say, "Oh, I can't stand that I look soft now." And, or, they're in their off season and oh, I can't see my lines. Will you please, all of you, stop demonizing the only season that bloody matters? For example, when I'm in prep and I get into shape and I am leaning down, I get a barrage of, wonderful commentary saying, God Almighty, you look incredible and your musculature and blah. Thank you so much to all. However, may I just remind you all, the reason why I look like that when I lean out is because of my off season. It's gnarly. I get big, and anyone that knows me knows that there is no one out there more than me that embraces their off season. I must be the only athlete running around in their pants, 20 kgs heavier, running around in their pants all day, going, look at me, wide in the doors, like, I love it. I absolutely adore my off season because it's when I get to work. I get to roll my sleeves up and get stuck in. And that's the moment I get to recomp, I get to reshape, I get to change my own game. My only competition, and this might sound like a cliche, but it isn't. Fact, my only competition is myself. And if I am to bring the best of me, I have to make sure I beat the last of me. I can't bring the best of me if I don't beat the last of me. And my off season is that moment. I get to go wild in it. I get to eat hard, train hard, change hard. Who isn't going to love that? You're crazy. Gosh, screw the lines. And I will say this, and I'm going to jar some people now, but facts are facts. Look, if you can scroll down my feed for those that know, I have, even when I'm 20, 25 kgs up in my off season, gnarly as hell, I still have lines. If you have lines, the lines don't go. If you have muscle, the muscle doesn't go. If you're claiming that your lines are gone, you never had a line.
It is, there is
Look,
there's truth behind that, and this is again, when you said
for sure,
the sport, the respect for the sport is in the off season as well. And if you spank it,
100%.
if you don't do what is set out to do in an off season to get the respect from what you're doing as a bodybuilder, your body will show it. We can't just fuck around.
Absolutely.
We can't.
Absolutely. You've got to go in hard. And if you're a responsible athlete, as I work hard to be, as you work hard to be, we cannot demonize any part of this process. Every part of this process, whether you're reversing, whether you're off season, whether you're in prep, is critical and is part of a very important chain of events that lead us to stage or to whatever the ultimate goal may be, lead us to stage, lead us to getting a bigger glute, to lead us to getting whatever it is we're trying to achieve. Every part of that chain is critical. No part should ever be demonized. No part should ever be spoken of negatively. It is critical that we embrace, however much it may make some out there feel uncomfortable. You need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
This is bodybuilding.
Simple as that. That's bodybuilding. The clue is in our name. We body build. We do not body cut. We're not body cutters. We cut momentarily. Momentarily. I peel a banana. I peel back to show you momentarily what I have created in my off season. I get on stage for all of 5 minutes, let's face it, before the judges usher you off, and you get a placing, and lovely. And please God, you achieve whatever those goals are for yourself. But that will all be dependent on your off season and certainly not on your cut. If you haven't worked hard, you haven't built the tissue, you haven't recomped correctly, what are you cutting to reveal?
Yeah. I know you're gonna resonate with
What are you going to,
it's resonating as well with,
yeah.
the and this is what I try and get across. Now, eh, it's an open can of worms because until you train hard, you think you train hard, and then you train hard, and you're like, "Oh, fuck, I train hard." However, it's like I see this in the off season that it's life season, that it's enjoyable, that it's I am absolutely writ off in off season from training because you're getting after it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's hard.
oh, geez, geez. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I worked so hard in my off season. There are some days I can barely speak, let alone walk. Like, I refuse to, there is not a second of my training or my day in my off season that is a day off. You've got to be joking. That phrase 0 days off, fact, when I'm like, when I'm in off season, I will not waste a drop of a day. Like I- I'm in and I'm in. I'm in 1000%. I've got like, for example, whether it is a short off season and you're like 5, 6 months, or whether you're on a longer off season, like 9 months, not a job. All I can think about is, God, I've only got 8 months left. I've only got 7 months. You know, I'm grinding, making sure that I'm kind of building the optimum amount of tissue that month. And I will just say this scientific fact, just so that those that don't know, a real seasoned athlete, and I'm talking about a pro and a half, right? Like a real hardcore athlete in their off season, training like an absolute Spartan, will not put on more than 1 kg of tissue total body in 1 month. So you do the math. You're not going to grow. So first of all, for those that think they're going to grow into, you know, Hulk in 40 days, newsflash, no. You've got to work hard. There's no magic pill that's going to make you pop an extra bicep. It's not going to happen. You've got to grind. And now, if we're talking about the gold standard level of 1 kg a month total body, you know, the likelihood if you're not at that level is a lot less. So grind, grind for the love of God, grind, because if you'll be lucky if at the end of your off season, if you've put on 4 kgs in 9 months, if you're not right up there, total body, you smashed it. You smashed it. So that's doesn't sound like a lot, but if you've done it, it can make a marked difference to your physique, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. But you have got to grind. You've got to get, you've got to get, you've got to get a real time understanding of how this works. Do you know what I mean? There's so much nonsense out there, unrealistic nonsense, I might add. But there's also a lot of complacency, and we all have to take ownership of what we do and don't do, basically.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. Oh, I'm just like, you can see why I am your adopted daughter because it is,
You are my daughter.
when we talk about the phases though, Sybil, like we've just spoken about there, I see this as well, and I'll just say it how it is. People put on weight in an off
Sure.
season, and it's like, oh, well, I'm gaining, and they become complacent. They relax far too much.
Absolutely.
Then you shred down or prep down or whatever, and it's like you might look worse because you've taken the piss
Yeah,
bodybuilding. You've taken the piss.
correct. So there's pushing on weight and there's pushing on tissue. The scales will go up. It doesn't mean you're doing it right. It doesn't mean you're doing it right. Fuck the scales, excuse my French. Absolutely. I mean, sure, the scales will go up by virtue. I mean, that's the nature of an off season and the nature of a bulk. We're bulking, we're gaining, great, and that's an indication. It's just a tool. Don't fixate on the scales, fixate on the look. Nobody for bikini, we'll talk about bikini, and actually we'll talk about figure as well, perhaps, and wellness. When we go to register for athlete registration, we do not get weighed, right? We are judged on how we look. That look is critical to what we have done in our off season. Not only is the look critical, actually, but so too is our prep critical to our off season. I eat astronomical amounts of food in my prep. Sorry, not sorry, guys. You'll hate me all. You do, dolls. Astronomical amounts of food. And that is because my off seasons are perfection. Like, I do an incredible off season. I work hard. I eat hard. I do it right. I pay attention to my coach. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I do not deviate from that. Do you know, I have no emotion. This is me speaking now. I have no emotional attachment to food, and that might just give me an upper hand. I know some have emotional attachments to food, and that might make it a little harder. Certainly, if, there are moments in life, as it were, that one might lean towards food for. Like, we know that when women can be a little upset about something, they might want a tub of Haagen-Dazs to drown their sorrows. I don't, I don't have any emotional attachment. I would say start with maybe a direction correction, as I call it, when it comes to your relationship with food. It's just fuel. We're an athlete now. You're no longer a normal. And so, let's think athlete now. So as it might sound easy for me to say, but it's also fact, and it might require a little work for some. But if you do your off season correctly, retrain not just your body by making it more responsive and training it to behave a certain way in an off season, in your prep, trust me, you'll feel it. I can cut close to, sometimes I'm cutting at over 2,000, nearly 2,500 calories. I'm in a cut. Now, that's astronomical levels. I am not on dust and air in my prep. That is a testament to my off season. I make sure I'm eating hard, I'm training hard, and I'm training my body to be really responsive and understand how to metabolize food, how to burn fat, how to utilize energy. And I'm eating specifically at specific times. I'm doing what I am told. Don't deviate, guys. Do the right thing. Trust your body. Trust the process. It's not just words. If you deviate, if you do a dirty bulk, you're going to get fat. You're not going to get tissue. And then when you go to cut and you wonder why nothing's changed at the end of it, oh, I've put on 30 kgs and I've cut down. And no, I look no different. It's because you didn't put on tissue. If you dirty bulk, you'll put on fat, rather than tissue. So a good indication is the visuals of how one looks when we are in off season. It's very, very prevalent when you are putting on mass, the way your shape looks versus when you are putting on fat. There will, of course, be fat gain, body fat increase naturally, but where it goes is critical. So, for example, if we don't train our glutes correctly, I'll speak of glutes because that's critical to us bikini girls. If we don't train our glutes correctly or enough, because I know so many don't, and then you go to carb up, right? And then you spill with this minutical amount of carbs. Why do we think that is? We're spilling because your body will push the carbs where the repair needs to be, where the energy needs to go. If you don't train your glute hard enough, well enough, and I'm using the glute as an example because it's critical to us, the carbs won't go there. They'll go to wherever it is you've trained. If you spent half an hour on your abs, that's where it's going to go. You're going to spill. If you spent 45 minutes on your biceps, it's going to go, or your chest, it's going to go there. It's going to go there. As in, my point is know that the body is exceedingly responsive. It will do what you train it to do. Trust it, but train it right. Train it right. Don't do what you want to do. Do what you need to do. What your coach, a good prep coach, should be guiding you to do. Trust the process. Let your coach drive, be the passenger. Stop. You don't know better. Do you know what I mean? You don't, is the point.
It's so true because the thing is as well, Sybil, and you'll relate, people do a prep and you have to learn sometimes for sure. You have to learn by having time in the game like
Sure.
we have. So I'm not, passing judgment and trying to smack talk people, but
Absolute.
what you got to realize is if you're committing to this is competitive bodybuilding. So when you've done a prep, you've done that by choice. And if you're going through the reverse out and you're doing your off season and you're constantly going, I had to do this in the prep and this was so fucking hard. I didn't want to do that. I had to. You're gonna potentially worsen your relationship
Right.
process the food and what your coach is asking you to do because you're resenting it.
Absolutely.
You almost feel bad for yourself. You become a victim because you've chosen to do a prep, and it's very, very difficult to step out of a victim mindset unless you acknowledge that and you're resenting the process. And it's like, you know,
Absolutely.
when you come through this and you're spanking your off season and you're not doing what's on the plan, your coach can only guide you a certain amount. You have to take ownership for this, guys. Like this is not a fuck around, and it's you that steps on stage.
100%.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And when we step on stage, let us not, it's easy to hide behind social media and add a filter and make these weird AI adjustments that people are doing. Like I have absolutely no idea how to do.
No,
That roadkill every time. I literally roadkill every time because take me as I am. But when you're standing on stage, you are literally standing on stage, almost starkers. You're in a thong and a bra. You cannot airbrush. You cannot lie. You cannot filter. So you better bloody have worked. You better bring your A game because you can't hide that. You're standing there. You're standing there. So take ownership. Do it for all the right reasons. Whatever your why is, whatever your reason is, just take ownership of that. But respect the stage, respect the sport, respect yourself. Don't get on stage not prepared. For the love of God, please God, just don't. Because it isn't respectful. And it is, no one wants that. You don't, you want to make sure that you're the best of yourself. Be prepped, be ready, stage ready, be ready up here as well. Understand, enjoy it, absolutely enjoy it. And please, guys, please, for all of you whom are so fixated on the others, whoever else you're competing against, please, guys, stop. Stop. Who you're standing on stage with is entirely irrelevant to you. You have no control on who is on stage with you or next to you. You have no control on what the judges are wanting to see that day, the nuances of what they want, the head judge may want that day. You have zero control over that. All you can control is what you bring, is yourself, is what you bring. And that is all that matters. In order for you to be the best you, you must focus on you. Stop looking to the left and to the right. It's irrelevant. What they've done is what they've done. What this one's done is what that one's done. It's got nothing to do with you. None of your business. Just get on stage, focus on you, enjoy yourself, beam, shine, make them see you. Don't fixate on competition. You're your competition. You've got no control over anything else. Please, guys, no matter if you take nothing else away from anything, take that, because I think that's probably, even when I'm backstage with these glorious, beautiful girls, I think that's probably the most prevalent fear I hear is, oh my God, she looks amazing. Oh my God, I'm never going to cut it. Stop, 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 stop. Just stop.
It's also
Just
a
stop
relevant
it.
point is that backstage, I've said this story a few times on the pod, but we might have some new listeners that follow you. I won a show once
So
that qualified me for the universe because my posing was better than the person who came second place. I won by 1 point because my posing was better. You don't know
that's
backstage.
insane.
You don't know backstage, do you? Like, they might look, but if they can't pose,
No,
guys.
absolutely not. Right. And I literally said this the other day, actually. I don't don't walk on stage like you're a builder. You know, let's not flop about like a dead fish. Let us embody, we must, I'll speak again of bikini, because I daren't speak of any other class before I get, shot to death by figure athletes whom I adore. But I'll speak of bikini. But as bikini athletes, we must be the absolute embodiment of femininity and grace. Do not forget what the overall package, image, expectation of your class should look like. So it is absolutely critical that our physiques are where they need to be. Absolutely. It's a physique competition. We are, of course, judged on our physique. We are standing there in a bikini. Quite. Absolutely. However, there's more to it than that. Just because you have the best physique on the day does not mean you will win. Like you said, you won a point because of your posing. Many times I've seen this before where the best physique didn't win because they didn't have the charisma, the finesse, the finishing touches, the ability to pose properly, transition properly, walk properly, have that the overall look, as it were, of their class, the epitome of what that should look like. We really must consider that. I think the thing that is my biggest pet hate is when I go to shows, and I see bikini athletes tie their hair up. Now, it's not a bikini thing. Don't do it. I'm just gonna, just say it. Just we need to embrace what the criteria of our class is. Figure, absolutely. They're like warrior women images. So we could, they have these magnificent like, oh God, absolutely adore these magnificent braids, and they can do this amazing, because the way they pose and what they're expected to deliver and demonstrate is significantly and markedly different to bikini. Bikini, we are just the absolute embodiment of grace, femininity, princesses, if you like. I don't know of a better, almost Disney princesses, long, beautiful, flowing hair. We are whatever the stereotypical gorgeous image of femininity is. And for us, it isn't really about tying up our hair. So it's all of these tiny, I'm using that as an example, but it's these little things that sometimes when the judges come to the crunch of picking and judging and giving points, that these things will matter. I've been in lineups before where it's been so strong in terms of physique, like really strong, that it's been nailed down to how your bikini sits.
Yeah.
That like, how are they gonna pick when you're all, so close, How does this one's hair sit longer, better? How does their bikini sit? Like, it's the minutiae that they'll end up picking on because they have to. They have to judge and they have to mark somehow. So be mindful of the overall, not just obviously bring the best physique, but bring the best possible package and overall look for whatever your classes and category is on the day. Consider that.
Yeah. Look like you wanna be there as well, and this is you'll see it,
Yeah. Oh,
as you say, people.
love it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, because people come out on stage, and I've judged for some of the amateur federations, and it's so different, Sybil, when someone walks out and it's like, bang, who the fuck is that? Like, I want to see this person. I
Yeah.
want to see more. And then you have people come out, and I think
Yeah.
from nerves and learning the game, as it were, and what have you. Fake it till you make it, guys. Just get on that stage. You have worked for this, just.
Absolutely, and I will, and I want to caveat something as well for all of those that are new out there, newbies out there that haven't yet, they're about to step on stage and haven't yet. So if you're a novice, a true novice, or a novice, or a completely first timer, guys, you're not going to be judged as if you are a seasoned pro. Relax. So relax. They know you're in the first timers category. They know you're a true novice or a novice. Do your best always be working to be better and better and the best. But they're not going to scrutinize you if you have a few butterflies in your tummy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the first time ever that you've been on stage. Like, relax. So for those that have never done it before, know that, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And this is your first time ever. But learn from that moment. Watch back your videos, learn, watch, replay. My best advice for newbies would be, look at a gold standard icon of yours, whomever that may be. Let us pick the glorious and wonderful Alison Testu, for example, 3-time Olympian. Let's pick her, right? Gold standard, absolutely. That's where everyone wants to be, Olympia level. These women, now I want to just come back to being a pro momentarily, but so if that's the gold standard and you are just starting out on your journey, which is awesome, replay yourself, be kind to yourself, replay yourself, and just look at the differences and always be kind of trying to be better. Make sure you've got a very good posing coach. Make sure you never neglect that, even in your off season. That is one thing. If you scroll through my page, you'll see I never stop with my posing. Because one thing I will say about posing, and I say it repeatedly when I post about posing, is your posing should be a living, breathing, changing organism, if you like. So as your physique changes, whether you are in off season or in competition prep, as your physique changes, so should your posing. So should your posing. You should be tweaking it to best showcase your physique. Let us not forget what posing is for. We're not just up here doing a dance routine. It's not stars in your eyes, X Factor. Do you know what I mean? We're not up here going, oh, judges, look at me. The posing serves a purpose. It is very specific for our class, and it is to showcase our physique, whether it's the glute pop, whether it's whatever whatever it is we're doing. As you lean out or grow, when you are doing your check-ins or when you are doing your posing, so should your posing be tweaked to best showcase what you have created at that time. You'll note if you see me through my off season and in my competition prep, my little nuances, my changes, my tweaks, because I'm forever working on how to best showcase my physique. The physique I kill myself to work so hard to create. That posing is what that serves. Let's not forget the reason for things. It's not just we walk on stage and we're doing this routine. No, it serves a purpose. So, but also I would say, as well as concentrating on your routine or your eye walk, also concentrate on how you hold your poses for your comparisons. Holding poses is way more important. This is the moment you're judged, not your eye walk. Holding your poses for your comps are critical. Learning how to breathe, how to stick a pose and hold it for as long as that. Sometimes they'll keep you in that pose for what feels like 10 years, literally. Yes, absolutely. Because you'll have to stay there as long as they need. Because especially if there's a hell of a lineup, and they'll move you around and you've got to stick the pose again for God knows how long and whatever, go round and round. I was in a lineup once with 28 girls. If you ever in your life, literally it felt like the entire population was on stage. 28 girls. They made us go round and round 10 times. It was exhausting, but you have to be switched on all the time, as if every single pose was the first time you did it. You never felt the fatigue. You never feel the pain. You're just on, and they look at that. So I would say practice, practice, practice. Always be doing better. If you're a newbie, a novice, a first timer, it's okay. Do your best. But rewatch yourself. Always be trying to achieve a gold standard. That's how all of us get better. We've all got our gold standards. Certainly the great Alison Tester, who is everyone's gold standard, I think, at the moment. And the wonderful and beautiful Kerry Sexton, whom I adore. Gold standard athletes, absolutely. So we need to be always trying to work on being better. But what I will also say, and I don't think this is spoken about enough either, and I just want to put it out there, is amateur bikini athletes, and I speak of first NPC guys, if you're an amateur athlete, you have 30 seconds on stage, 30 seconds. You are not expected to flounce around like it's some kind of Moulin Rouge. Like you're 30 seconds, get on, do it, get off.
Oh, it pisses the judges off?
Because they'll cut you off and you'll look like, you don't know what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be cut off. You want to get on, do your thing, be as elegant as a gracious ballerina and swan off. The end. 30 seconds. If it's not NPC and it's like a PCA or a FitX or something else, you'll likely get 60 seconds because you've got 4 quarter turns. Practice that. Don't over flounce. Now with NPC, you get more time on stage when you are pro. When you are an IFBB Pro League athlete, you'll have a minute, maybe slightly more on stage. So when you're looking at your idols, do not copy them in their routine. They get longer on stage. You're not expected to perform like that. What they want to see from an amateur athlete, simple, clean, deliver, get off. That's it. When you're a pro, they want showmanship a little bit more. What they want from an amateur is grace, fluidity, grace, elegance, succinct, get off. But for a pro, they want showmanship a little more. They flounce, they walk, they can do because they can. They've earned that right. They've earned the stage time. They're elite pros so they get to have a bit more stage time, and so they should. But just bear that in mind, guys. If you're an amateur athlete looking at the pros, don't pose like them per se
Yeah.
because they get longer time. Just be mindful of that.
And get to, like you're saying with, looking at people and having that inspiration, get to shows, go to shows.
Go to shows, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no better, because everything we're talking about here is based on time in the game. Of course, being
Yeah.
a masters athlete, you've had over 30 years of being a bodybuilder. So you've got
Yeah.
time in the game, you've got time at going to shows. When you're in your off season, go,
Yeah.
and you can if you want, but if you institutionalize yourself so much that you're not even in the bodybuilding world apart from social media, you become blinkered to what may
Quite.
be expected from you next time you step on stage, because in your mirror at home you go, "Oh, I look great, this is me." I'm
Yes.
But you get on stage and you think, "Holy shit," because you're not
Yeah.
exposed to the reality of the
Absolutely
sport like we're talking
right.
about.
Right.
And this ties in, like you said, about,
Absolutely right.
your coach will know this, your coach.
100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. And also we must not lose sight of what the process is actually about. We are not glory hunters. We are not trophy hunters. I get it. It's a competition. I get it. We're competitive athletes. But I ask you to consider what the word competitive actually means. Who are you actually competing against? I get it. You're in a lineup. Yes. And everyone wants the gold. But what is this really about, being a bodybuilder? It sure as shit isn't about the gold. Sorry, not sorry. It is not. It is about growth. It is about progression. It is about development. It is about your goddamn feedback. Get that feedback. Because I tell you something now, all the greatest champions in the world have in common is losses. You have to not place. You have to lose. You have to in order to get better. If you forever win, 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 what is there to improve on? What feedback are you going to get? Yeah, well done. On to the next one. No, we want the feedback. Remember, you're getting on stage to deliver the best of you. Whatever the outcome, it doesn't matter. What matters ultimately is that feedback. That feedback and you bringing the best of you, better than whatever the last time was. And obviously, guys, if you're new to this and it's your first time, then you just bring the best you can that day. And next time round, you bring better than the last time. But the feedback is everything for all of us. Doesn't matter how seasoned you are, how many shows you've done, how many years you've been doing it. We all strive to be better than the last time we were on that stage. We all strive. I want you all to consider one thing. Consider your feedback the way I consider the feedback. Feedback to me is the Da Vinci Code. It is the Da Vinci Code of how I can get that gold next time. It's literally telling me what to do. Bigger this, more of this, more of that, less of this, less of that. It's literally telling you what to do. Grab it, speak with your coach, work. That's it. And you'll get it. It will come. Work talks, physique talks. We all have eyes, not just the judges. We can see, like we all see, you know what I mean? We can all see progress. We can all see an incredible physique. We can all see an athlete that grinds and works. Make no mistake of that fact. Not just the judges,
Mhm.
not just the judges. So make sure your mind is right and that you're not up there glory hunting, trophy hunting, and then wanting to lapse into a depression and binge eat just because you didn't place or you didn't get a gold. Okay, you didn't place, you didn't get a gold. Get your feedback. Do better. Do better. It's okay. You killed it. You killed it for being up there. You killed it. You've got to give yourself the love and the respect and the kindness that you deserve. And if, just if, you were an athlete that got on stage and you didn't do your best, take goddamn ownership of that fact.
For sure, for sure.
Just saying.
It
Just
comes
saying, you know?
I feel like as well, the brutality of the sport, we're talking about this again, this is competitive bodybuilding. But,
Absolutely.
when you get feedback, guys, don't take it personally. Use it. Use it and let it
Gosh,
fucking fuel the shit out of you to go, "That's my off season. Simple. This is what I need to do."
that's it. Gosh, I mean, you mustn't take it gosh, I've had feedback where I'm known as Delticus. If I was a Spartan name, Delticus would be my name because I think that that is my special gift. I wish my glutes were that fabulous, but they, the Delt gods bless me that when I was born. Now I've had feedback before now where they've said we need more Delt. Now I don't know in what world I could give you more Delt before I'm now in figure. If you know what I mean. But it is what it is. Get your feedback, and nothing's personal. You take it, and you're like, okay, this is what I have got to do. And your coach is the driving force behind what happens next. But you take it, and you're like, okay, great, this is awesome. So I'm, you know, taking ownership of that, and I'm going to run with that. But also, let's not forget, guys, for anyone that hasn't ever done this before and hasn't received feedback before, you don't just get these like the you must do better here, here, and here. They also tell you what you've done brilliantly well. So they also note, what you are exceptional at, or what you shine at, or what you delivered perfectly. If you're an amazing poser, if you have a fantastic glute or conditioning or whatever it may be, they'll also tell you that. So they'll not just give you constructive advice, they'll also give you praise where you deserve praise so that you know what you should and should not focus on. They will be very matter of fact. They'll say, do not touch this. This is absolutely great. Don't do any more of this. This is fabulous. Do more of this, for
Mm,
example. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that secret code to success?
mm, yeah.
Run with it, embrace it, embrace it.
I love that. I also feel as well this ties into when you do step on stage, and this is something I try and tell all of my athletes. If you've done that, if you've done the code, you've listened to your coach, you've been honest,
Yeah,
maybe you fucked up a bit, and you've been honest, and you've rectified it, and you've moved on. We are human as well, so
yes,
there is things that occur.
absolutely.
However, when you then go into your next season and you've improved your physique, well, there you go, you've won. You've won in yourself. And if that's awarded, fucking brilliant.
Absolutely.
If it's
Yeah.
not, you need to go again.
Yes.
You need to go again. You need to go again.
Need to just keep going. Absolutely. But there are some insane athletes out there that have been some stunning, and when I say stunning, I mean breathtaking bikini athletes out there that have been going for 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, and they still haven't achieved their IFBB Pro Cup. And let me tell you, when you see these women, they are mesmer like absolutely breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. And you're like, I often sometimes think, good look, my God, how is this? But it is what it is, and we must just keep going. I recently launched plug. Sorry, guys, shameless plug. Shameless plug. Actually, not just not as an accident on purpose, but shameless plug. I launched a gym wear line recently called is my handle. Yeah, so pro as part of in conjunction with Ink and Iron, and my first line is called Never Give Up. And it's doing so well, and I thank every single one of you guys who have purchased the items because it's resonated so much. But the point is I've never given up in all of my life, not once, not ever, on the dreams and the goals that I have had since I was a 20-year-old girl. I'm 52 years old now, so I'm a very seasoned bodybuilder. So I've never given up, and it resonated with me, and it seems to have resonated with everyone. Just never, ever give up. Just because today you didn't get the result you wanted doesn't mean tomorrow you won't. I urge you, please, guys, to consider all of the things we spoke about at the very start. Consider the stage you have chosen to stand on. Consider your class. Consider your weaknesses. Consider all of these factors before you choose to internalize a negative emotion, because there shouldn't ever be. This sport is without a doubt ruthless and relentless. It is unforgiving when it comes to the way that it will judge you, quite literally, because that is what we do. We are physique athletes. We stand there on purpose to be judged with purpose. Everything we do should be on purpose with purpose. Not any part of this entire journey, if you like, or any of our phases should be under duress. You should want it, love it, and do it on purpose. Your entire life should be done on purpose, as far as I'm concerned. And I can say that as an older person, an older person with, yeah, an older person who, and I've always embraced life very with all my heart. But you must do this sport, not just this sport, but life and every part of it with purpose, on purpose. If you don't, it shows. It shows. Never, ever be forced, never do anything under duress. Enjoy it, own it, lean into it, even if it's difficult. And for some, it will be difficult until you get to a certain level. And, you know, we all want to go from 0 to 1,000 overnight. It can't, right? Not always. It might take time for us to, for example, condition our bodies, train our bodies. It might take a season, it might take 2 seasons, but eventually it will learn. You'll train it, you'll get better every time. It will be easier. It should be easier. And, you know, more muscle, more calories, more muscle, more longevity, more muscle, more everything. Muscle is the secret to life. So let us embrace all of these amazing factors and lean into them, however difficult it may be that day, however fantastic it may be. All of the highs, all of the lows, all of this is designed to build you as an athlete, not just your physique, but also you as a person internally. Love the sport and be mindful and caring and compassionate and embody good sportswomanship to all of your fellow athletes, wherever you may be, whatever stage or backstage you may be. Do always be kind and embracing and happy. There is no need for a competitive, aggressive attitude ever, or any type of animosity to any one of your fellow athlete colleagues, as it were. Always be kind and supportive, because this sport, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'll reiterate, you have no control over the decisions, none. You do have control over how you conduct yourself and what you bring to stage. Be the embodiment of what it is to be an athlete, a role model, a good sportswoman. Be that. Enjoy it. Definitely. And I'm always available for anyone that knows. I'm always available. Reach out to me or to Sarah, guys, if you've got any questions or anything. You know, we are so embracing and love our community and our sport so much. There is nothing we wouldn't do for it. There is no corner of the world I haven't traveled for it. And, you know, there's nothing at all we wouldn't do. And just reach out. Just reach out. We're all here.
I'm gonna read out the messages that I haven't actually I've said I'm gonna read out some messages. So it's from Aniko, who you've been speaking to, and
Oh,
she
she's
messaged
wonderful.
You wait for this.
Beautiful soul.
Wait for this. So she messaged saying, "Good afternoon. I'm so excited about your podcast with Sybil. I'm so grateful for her that she is continuously fighting for masters athletes for more recognition and support. She is a perfect example that a masters athlete still can be really competitive and successful in her sport, in our sport. I'm so grateful for you that you're having her on the podcast with you.
Oh,
She's genuinely it carries on, she is
oh,
genuinely helpful. You have no idea how much she's currently helping me with my Euro Masters show, which is going to be in Milano in November. I asked her a few questions because I know she's been there too last year. She's so, so helpful, and her mindset is what we would call a true champion mindset. For her, the impossible does not exist."
thank you so much. Thank you, Eniko. I love you dearly. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. That
Makes
I
me emotional.
can't, absolutely cannot tell you how much that means to me because honestly, so many reach out to me, and I will always be there to help no matter what. I've said, I always say, there is no need to embody kind of this as a momentarily said any animosity or any um you know negativity towards anyone else. This sport is big enough for all of us. This sport, this world, this planet is big enough for us all. How could I ever begrudge anyone that has the same dream as me, that's standing on a stage, working their fingers to the bone with the same dream as me? How could I ever begrudge them anything? I have nothing but love in my heart for every single woman or male who reaches out to me, whom I've met, whom has met me, who has seen me in action behind stage, or reaches out to me for questions. I will support you like your biggest fan always. I have no negativity in my heart. If I am standing on stage with you, I pray that you win. I pray for us both. Please, God, one of us realizes our dream. How could you ever begrudge anyone from that? Today it's their turn. Tomorrow it will be your turn. If it's for you, it will not pass you. If you didn't win something, consider why. Consider why. Because you have to be gracious. If you lose out to an athlete that has a better physique, I bow down. Super. That's what this competition is about. It's not popularity contest. It's not a beauty pageant, a hair contest. It's a physique contest. If they're on stage, they have a better physique, a better delivery, a better anything, a better package. Amazing. Super. Uh, you know, we must be we must congratulate them. We must be happy for them, and we must learn. We
Inspired.
must learn. Amazing. Absolutely. You take from that, be gracious. Look at some of these, look at the Olympia stage, the Olympia contests or the Arnold, when you've got they're fighting for big money, big, big wins. These are huge. It doesn't get bigger than that, right? Like, I mean, to win that is the ruler of the free world. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, so they're fighting for something that big. But when they're on stage and they're shoulder to shoulder like that, these girls, and let's say so and so wins and the others don't, they embrace each other. They show nothing but love, nothing, because you know what? To get on that stage in the first place, like, insane levels of, you should be so grateful to be on the stage in the first place. Be grateful and proud of yourselves for everything that you've achieved, to be on the stage with such incredible athletes, regardless of where you placed or not placed, doesn't matter. Learn, grow, be gracious, be be what an athlete should be, and just move on. And that's it. And next time it will be your turn. Don't begrudge someone their win because it's not their choice, right? It's the choice of the judge. That's what the judges wanted that day. I've been on many stages where, you know, the judge wanted a look that wasn't my look. I was just got back from Hong Kong, and the look the the judges wanted was not my. I was probably the most conditioned. I usually am the most conditioned on the stage, condition queen. I usually am, but I was probably the most conditioned on the stage, and they wanted a look that was a little less conditioned, maybe a little fuller, for want of a better description.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. I know I looked imposing, incredibly imposing, and I bought the best look I'd ever bought to any stage. The stage was magnificent. My look was awesome. I was so proud. I never demonstrated or showed anything other than that. I was gracious when I walked off. Actually, a dear friend of mine placed fifth, and I didn't place on one of the lineups. I couldn't be happy for her. We meet each other actually around the world on these pro qualifiers, and sometimes I play, sometimes she plays. It's just how it goes. You don't know, but it's just wonderful to be able to share stage with such incredible, wonderful athletes, to share a dream and a goal with people that you respect. How could you ever begrudge that? So I urge you all, guys, to please consider your mindsets, consider how you look at these things. Yes, it is a competition, but what you're actually competing against is yourself and the eye of the judge. Be gracious enough, be imposing enough to take their eye. That's it.
Mm.
That's it.
Show them what you've worked hard for, and also, guys,
Show them what you worked hard for.
something that I wanna mention as well is just how courageous you've been around the show that you did in aid of in memory of
Thank you.
your dad. It's
Yes.
been, and
Thank you.
this is something that, I feel is worth mentioning in regards to if bodybuilding is the right path for you and your why. You actually, and I'll let you give some context, but you actually found out your dad had passed just after you got off stage on one of your competitions,
Yes.
and you decided to
Yes.
go and do another show in memory of him to show him how proud
Yes.
he was of you and to feel that proud for yourself.
Yes.
And that,
Yes.
that sticks with me because you didn't go, "Oh, fuck it, I'm not gonna do this anymore." It was like, what can I do? I can do what I'm passionate about to celebrate my father, and that in itself it really blew me away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. And thank you. Obviously, guys, what you don't know is the conversations myself and Sarah had when my father passed. And thank you so much, Sarah, for being there for me during that time and all of your kindness and message and support. It really does go, and thank you all so much for all of the messages because it really does go such a long way, stitch by stitch, mending my broken heart. So thank you so, so much. I was just on the God, every day's blurring into another day. Just a couple of weeks ago in Hong Kong, competing at a pro qualifier. When I was on stage on that weekend, it was the weekend of the 6th and the 7th. Because there's a huge time difference also. What I didn't know is my father passed away when I was on stage, and when I got off the stage and just literally walked into the apartment, I got a call to tell me my father had passed. Naturally, for anyone who's lost a parent, the floor falls out of your world. You do not know what is happening. I mean, I must have asked the question about 300 times, like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Like, I could not comprehend words. However, my mother, now I had a show based on the outcome of Hong Kong, would obviously naturally depend on what happens next. I had already had a show scheduled in if I hadn't turned pro in Hong Kong. Now, that show, was a gladiator Spartan themed show and was in France. What the world doesn't know is that my father was always a gladiator to me. So that was personal. So my dad was always a gladiator, and to my dad, I was always a Spartan. So it was bonkers bizarre that was and obviously that was scheduled long before I'd ever gone to Hong Kong and before my father had passed. And it was even before my father had passed, I was like, oh God, Dad, like this one's for you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because this is a gladiator Spartan one. So it was there ready just in case. So when my mother broke the news to me, I said, immediately, I can't live it. She went, absolutely not. That's your dad's show. You're going to go to that show. That is your dad's show. And you are going to go and you are going to do this for Dad. And I was like, Mum, are you sure? Yes, she said, you go and do this for Dad. He would want nothing more. And truth is he wouldn't. If my dad, oh my God, if my dad found me wallowing, for want of a better description, he would whoop my ass. He would absolutely whoop my ass. He'd be like, get up, let's go. This is not Spartan behavior. You know, like, right. So I'm like, fine, Mum, I'm on it. I went to France and I competed with the ACP, a French federation. And I would just like to say a very special thanks to Khalid, who is the federation owner. I have to say, this federation was frankly the most incredible experience I think I have ever had. That Cal has such integrity, such love for the sport, and wishes to make it as big as it is in the US, in France, for example, like really puts everything behind it and treats athletes as like you wouldn't believe. Like I've got to tell you, I've never had an experience like it. And I thank him from the bottom of my heart for that experience. But when I won clean sweep, I got 3 golds, ladies and gents, 3 golds. I'm very proud to say for my dad. Dad, this one's for you. I got three golds, the overall bikini champion. I got a magnificent sword, like this big. And I was the first British athlete to become a French Federation pro. So I'm so grateful and honoured for that. But he honoured my father in that presentation and honoured me. And in honouring my father, because he knew that he actually watched me as an athlete, my progression as an athlete, and knew my father had passed in Hong Kong and knew that I was the Spartan and he was a gladiator. When the presentation came, he got the stage hand to hand me a huge wrought iron gladiator mask so that I could hold it above my head and take pictures in honor of my father. And I could not honestly be more, it was just such an incredible experience and one that I will never forget. So if anything from that darkness comes such light and such beauty. But one thing that bodybuilding demands of you is resilience. It is absolutely all about resilience, never about giving up, never about failure. It is about being resilient. So we will always have more moments of no than we will yes, more moments of losses, for want of a better word, than we will wins, because that's how we grow. That's how we become better. Be resilient, be dedicated, just have that fire in your belly and just never let it go out. If this is your path, if it is for you, it will not pass you, but work and it will come. It will come. Thank you for talking about my father. Thank you so much.
And,
I appreciate it.
But before we finish, never give up, guys. You know, this
Never give up.
this exploration you can see, I mean, we could probably do a 24-hour podcast because what it's very hard
Exactly.
to it literally it's very hard to get across when I say, that it's my whole life. You can see there's someone sitting in front of me that mirrors exactly the same as what I say. And for me, all that matters is my own progression. It's as simple as that. And that I can show and share passion. I can have a ripple effect in the world as you are, because those messages from Aniko, I mean, that makes me emotional because I know Aniko and she
Thank you.
is, oh, wow, and
Credible athlete. Credible athlete.
yeah, and there's so many people like her that are gonna look up to you and what you're doing day in, day out to spread this passion, and you mustn't forget that as well. This opportunity is
Thank you.
you are you. You are the one who's
Thank you.
yeah, you can't beat passion. You can see it a fucking mile off. And you are gonna be inspiring more people than you even believe. And you say it's an honor for me. It really, really is.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Honestly, it really is an honor for me. Really is. And if guys, there is any, even if one of you is in any way inspired, is in any way um, encouraged to rethink something or do something or not do something, as the case may be, I am honored and humbled always. Uh, You know, I want you all to know that first and foremost, this sport is not a negative sport. It is a community that is beautiful, and it is a sport that is welcoming and all encompassing. It doesn't care how old you are or any of this nonsense. Like, it just wants you to be you and to be dedicated, to want it, to embrace it, to respect it. All I would ask of you all, please, guys, is to be kind to yourselves. Just pay attention to the points that we discussed today and we've raised today, but respect the sport, respect the stage. Don't be frightened of it, scared of it, or begrudge it, or begrudge a decision, or begrudge the judges, or begrudge you. Respectfully, I say this, but you don't know better. We are all at the mercy of whatever the judges want, and that's fine. And we walk away graciously, and it should teach us grace, you know, resilience, grace, professionalism, compassion, all of the above. Be all of those things. Just enjoy it and lean into it. Never give up. Never, never.
To give up because even in the depths of darkness, whatever you're facing, guys, bodybuilding can be. It doesn't need to be lent into to mask it. It can actually bring the positive that you potentially need to get through these times, and it's important.
Surely. Absolutely. And like I said before, I'm always here. Sarah's always here. And reach out to others in your circle. If you have got things that are questions, there's no such thing as a stupid question, guys. Ask it. If you need advice, if you're worried about something or you're internalizing something, don't. Don't. This community is huge. It's loving. It's big. It's cushiony. It's there for you. It's there to squish you when you need it. Like it's there. It's there to guide. We're all here. It's very, very important. But what's absolutely paramount is you get this right. This is key. This this is everything. Because if this isn't right, it can all go terribly wrong. We can think ourselves, into oblivion. So no. So let's just get this right, get our mindset right, and everything is going to be okay. And know that you have got an unlimited vortex of support out there. So reach out, guys, if needed.
Thank you, Sybil. I'm gonna put your Instagram handle
Oh,
in the
thank you.
because if any
Thank you.
and of
Thank
course,
you, Sarah.
guys, if you've enjoyed this and taken anything from it, share it on your story, send it to a friend, any of those things. And I'll just mirror before we finish up what you just said there. Anything we've spoken about is to help you grow. So if you've heard us talk about a topic today and you go, oh, that's me. Why are they calling me out? Use that. Again, like judges' feedback, use these things to go, I could do better here and I want to do better. And I would always remember this in this podcast episode, you've said multiple times, I get to, I get to, I get to do these things. And guys, if you are in a mindset that needs work,
Absolutely.
it's a good thing. Get off on the discomfort and grow and reach out if you want to. We are here, we mean that, and
100%.
it's important. Thank you for
Absolutely. You are in a very, and remember, guys, you're in a very special position to be able to do this sport. Um, be grateful, exercise gratitude, be humble, just breathe into it. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. It's not, we're not, this isn't a life or death situation, like you're going to be all right. Going to be all right. And like
enjoy
Sarah
it.
said, we're here. We're
Thank you so much. I knew this would be a vibe, but yeah, I've got to say, what an episode.
It's been everything for me. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. And thank you guys for listening out there. Thank you so much. It really has been amazing. And I'm I'm honoured to be able to throw a spotlight as a masters athlete on masters, the masters topic, and also to be able to assist in any which way for anyone that is even non-masters, if there's anything that I might have said here. But please, guys, we keep saying, if you've got any questions, anything at all, do reach out. Do reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to speak to you real soon.
Love you.
Love you.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Love you.
Hey!